about gender roles and sexuality, half of which are about the artist formerly known as Prince. No, I'm just kidding. So we decided to do a show called Are Men Obsolete? I know, because, no, check this out. The latest Census Bureau report indicates that by next year, women will outnumber men by approximately 7 million. Uh-huh. But the men like that. At this rate, by the year 3000, there will be 9 billion more women in the U.S. than men. It all has to do with the XX and the XY chromosome. And you know what science says is that the Y chromosome is beginning to disappear. I don't know if you knew that, so check it out. Here is the good news, though, ladies, because according to the Evening Standard in London, 2 professors at Rutgers University are on the verge of developing a pill known as the orgasm pill. And I'm not just saying that that's all that a guy is good for, because, you know, sometimes they're not even good for that. Well, you know, if the truth hurts. Huh? There, you have no problem, I know. We're not talking about any of the men in the audience today. These guys are all, you know, like on-fire studs in the Roseanne audience. But when men are obsolete, this is going to be one popular pill, don't you think? I mean, the warning label is going to read, serious side effects are irrelevant because you're going to take this pill anyway and you know it. So, speaking of men becoming obsolete, my next guests, they're very, very opinionated women who've got a lot to say on this subject. So stay tuned for the extremely spirited lawyer, Gloria Allred, and her... and her evil twin, columnist Susannah Breslin. Plus, this is so cool. Speaking of men becoming obsolete, we've got 3 great gals who used to be guys. And legendary musician Ike Turner. So stay with us. About who we would like to have on our show to discuss the whole thing about men and whether or not they're becoming obsolete, we really wanted to have a lively dialogue from 2 interesting women with opposing viewpoints. So, without further delay, please help me welcome to our stage the prominent and ever so outspoken lawyer, Gloria Allred.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And her counterpoint columnist, Susannah Breslin. Thank you. So, what do you think about that? Men are obsolete. This is really what they're saying. It's science. The Y chromosome is disappearing.
Yeah, I mean, science aside, that was sort of the prompt at the beginning, but I have a real problem that we're even asking that question. I mean, in my opinion, the only reason you're asking that question at all is because of feminism. And feminism has spent the last 35 years promoting this completely anti-male agenda. And of course, men are a complete necessity in the bedroom, and I'm sure there's other uses for them as well. Fixing your car when it breaks down.
No, yeah, that's a good one.
No, we've spent the last 35 years bashing men over the head with a hammer called feminism, and what I'm surprised by is that men have put up for it for as long as they have. I mean, if I were a guy, I'd be like, look, you know, I'm as much a human being as any woman is.
Well, I'm really sorry that you just don't understand what feminism is. I'm sorry that you don't understand that feminism is about equal rights for women with men, that it's about helping mothers collect their child support and stronger laws so that mothers are going to be able to collect their court-ordered child support on time and in the amount due. It's about protecting women from violence against women, from rape and from battery. It's about job equity.
Well, there's two two major problems with what you're saying that people have not been talking about. One is there's a huge gap between what feminism claims to be and what in fact it really is. Of course, if feminism was in reality about equality between men and women, everyone would be for it, both men and women. But the way in which feminism acts out on its so-called agenda is extremely problematic. For example, in many ways, it has promoted what you addressed in the second half of what you said, which is a very victimized stance for women. And I don't see how promoting women as victims of the patriarchy is empowering to women at all.
Well, your denial. You know,
Look at me, I'm not getting in trouble at all. I'm in the middle for once.
you know, your denial that women and their children often have been victims doesn't change the reality. The reality is that they have. There's so many women who as children have been victims of child sexual abuse. There are so many women who have been the victims of domestic violence. So for you to say that they haven't been victims is to deny that there's a problem. And when you deny there's a problem, this country is not going to get to the solutions for those problems.
But,
and that is what's
you know
wrong
what?
and harmful.
You know what?
But the thing
to
is,
be in the middle, it's my turn. To be in the middle, which I can't believe I'm in the middle on something. It's so cool for a change. But I can kind of see. I think that when we all first were feminists in the late 60s, or as far back as I remember, it was something that both men and women supported. And then I do think it took a turn.
Absolutely.
For something real ugly that did make us all into victims. And as long as we think of ourselves as victims, I don't think we can get ahead.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree
I don't
more.
think we can go anywhere, because in being victims and in like holding on to that whole victim stance, we forget. I'm going to tell you something that's going to make you mad. That women do sexually abuse their male sons. We never, ever are allowed to say that. Never makes it public. Women are oppressors of children and men and people of color. And you know, I just really think that as long as we stay in the mold where everything's being done to us and we don't act, we're in the scariest place of all to be in.
Feminine has always been a white upper middle class woman's movement. And you know, when you accuse me of not being sympathetic, that's not correct. You know, obviously I have compassion for women who have been raped, for girls who have been molested, but like Roseanne was saying, labeling them as a victim and encouraging a sort of a prone, a static, a victimized stance is not going to get them anywhere.
Well, again, you're showing your, unfortunately, ignorance of the role of African American women in the movement. Great heroines like Sojourner Truth, people like Barbara Jordan, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who was one of the preeminent leaders.
He's not saying anything about that.
So don't say it's an elitist white woman's movement, because you're absolutely factually inaccurate about that. You're denying their role, which is really a shame, because they
She's
deserve
not
credit.
saying that, though. I don't think she is saying that.
And as much
I
as
don't think
that,
she's
there's been a
saying that.
history of African American women having a huge problem with the feminist movement, that it was not inclusive of their agenda.
Well, you know, it's about women being in equal partnership with men in each and every aspect of their life. It's about when we raise our daughters.
Well, I think it was. I think it was when it was conceived and in the beginning, but I think this younger generation of women, of which I have 3 daughters, and you have daughters too.
I have a daughter.
Yeah, I think that they perceive where that went, the turn that it took, as just being a big old out-of-date, bloated, on-fire juggernaut of sinking bullshit.
Yeah, and absolutely.
And I have to agree. I do. I agree.
And
Well, my daughter does not feel that way. My daughter is a women's rights attorney who helps other women with the injustices they suffer because they are women, with sexual harassment on the job. And many women are sexually harassed on the job, and as a result, they're denied their equal employment opportunity. You know, it's sad, Roseanne. We raise our daughters, we say, go and get a good education, study hard, and you'll be judged on your merits.
But I think it's good
not.
because I think that our daughters actually went to the next level that we didn't get to go to with them. And I think that a lot of what they look at as our old stance being obsolete. If anything's obsolete, I think that is to them. None of them believe it anymore. None of them carry it forth or any of that because they don't have to, because the world actually did get better for them. But now they have, you know, a whole new set of circumstances to tackle that we didn't have.
Yeah, I would call those women post-feminist. And what I never understand is why feminist women have such a problem with young women suggesting that the original feminist movement from 35 years ago be changed. Why is that so troubling? I mean, to me, it seems like if you're going to protest that much, that there must be something really fragile and weak about the movement itself. For example,
I think it's just, we have to take a commercial, we'll be right back, but let me just say, you know, maybe it's a matter of respect, too. We'll be right back after this. You know. Again, and like I was telling Suzanne in the break, and I want to say, I think that, you know, you younger women, we really, us older women, we really need you to, like, you know, kiss our feet a little bit, because we went out there and paid the price, you know. we did pay the price.
Actually,
and then, like I said,
feet, you said a different part of the
right.
body before.
I was about to say bend over, but no.
But you know what I mean.
Maybe after the show.
Because it is a different world for you because of what we did.
And I think, you know, what I'm calling post-feminist women are happy to do that, are happy to show respect for the feminist movement, but can't we change it? Can't we reshape it?
Right.
Can't we make it so, you know, we can wear padded straw? Can't we
padded
make it
bras?
Padded bras? Can't we wear padded bras instead of burning them? You know, can't we feel empowered instead of feeling victimized?
Right.
Can't we love men instead of bash them?
That definitely is about like more comfortable with our sexuality than women of our group were. Definitely, because we couldn't be. We had too much to fight for. But what were you going to say about you? Gloria said that it isn't even fair to talk about feminism when men are controlling the media and what we hear about it, right?
Well, there have been many men who have controlled the media who have decided that they're going to define and characterize and distort what feminism really is. So they'll put forth a lot of these negative stereotypes like the burning bra, which didn't happen, issue, and they'll try to define feminists in some trivial way or some negative way so that our young daughters will not understand that it's really about equal rights for women with men, that we should earn the same on the job, equal pay for equal work. And, you know, you're spending time worrying about whether we should wear padded bras or not. That is your choice. But there are many millions of women in this country who are worried about supporting their children, who want to protect the right to choose abortion so that they can have the right to control their lives, who want the right to birth control and access to birth control.
Hey, let's talk about burning the bras and say, like at a time where we burned bras or whatever metaphorical thing that means, let's talk about a real line of feminism to the point where breast cancer is the #1 killer of women. That is a feminist issue. It is definitely a feminist issue.
And they are feminist issues and they are political issues, but they shouldn't be the only issues that we're allowed to think about as young women. And feminism has this very Nazi-like attitude where you have to behave this certain way and ascribe to a certain set of beliefs.
I don't think it's
and that's
Nazi,
just
it's
as
more
stifling.
politically correct.
That's just as stifling as any, you know, this depiction that you've given of men that control the media, like it's, you know, it's like it's this conspiracy.
But it is.
That's such a load of crap.
There's 4 rich.
No, I'm
there
not
are
even buying
4 rich
it.
men.
I don't understand. Who's controlling this show? You're controlling this show. I don't understand how she can say that.
Oh, honey, I'm about the only one that isn't controlled by men. Check it out.
Well, then you're a role model. Then you're a great role model for us. But I would rather focus on you as this fabulous, powerful role model
check
than
it out.
than
There
try and
are,
bash
like
men.
Rupert Murdoch and stuff, there's like 4 really rich men who control
well,
all the
what
news
are you
we
gonna
hear.
do? All you can do is try, as a woman, is try and get yours too. I don't understand how she can slam men in such a sexist
Well, you
way,
see-
and the men in this audience will just sit there and listen.
Well, this
That's what feminism
this is not a slam. And let me just say, I have a grandson.
Oh, you're a bunch of...
I have a grandson. I have a grandson and I have a granddaughter, and I love them equally.
I mean,
and
is
I
that
want
what
the
you're
best.
saying?
And I want the best for all of them.
Well, yeah,
Are you calling them wimps and stuff?
No, I'm encouraging them to rise up against feminism, too.
You know, Roseanne made an important point about breast cancer that I want to go back to because that's really important. This is an example of how treating women differently and unequally has really cost women their lives. Because in the past, there has been far less money devoted to research on women's health problems than there has been money devoted by the government to men's health problems. And so for that reason, many women have died of breast cancer. If the same amount of money had been devoted to research, to perhaps, solving this huge medical problem and condition, women's lives might have been saved. Some of our mothers, like my mother, might be alive today. And so sexism really has an impact on governmental decisions, and that's why we have to have equal rights for women.
And I agree with that. It's like we agree on the same basic issues that are important, but feminism encourages you to look back and say, this is where we have been wronged, and this is so inappropriate, and every wrong can be attributed to a male. And all I'm saying is, take a forward-looking stance, saying, okay, this has been screwed up. Where can we go from here? Where can we act out as women to change that?
I think you both make very good points. Both make very good points. And am I going to take a commercial? Yes. Okay, I'm taking a commercial. I'll be right back. Thank you all. My next guest claims that she's always had a man and can always get a man and will always keep a man. Please welcome Shanisha Hawkins. You have an interesting take on this whole thing, don't you?
Yeah, I got a man. And I always had a man. And I'm always get a man, Because it's like so many men's all around. I mean, you get on the bus, who's the driver? The man, And so I haven't really had a problem like that, in terms of finding a man or even being equal to a man. Or why would I want to be equal to a man if you're a bus driver, right? And I get on the bus, right? And I give you like a little wink and I get on for free. Well, we not equal.
That's true. Good point. What about the obsolete thing? Do you think that we'll always need men, or?
Well, we don't really need them now.
No?
Whatever, you looking under my skirt. And trying to figure out how can you get up under there. That's all. I know, because see, a man's thing is to try to bring down a woman's emotional and psychological, self-esteem so they could get up in your pants.
Really?
And,
That's what you think?
I know, that's the way it's always been.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Adam and Eve, he said, you bit the apple, and then she felt all guilty, right?
That's a good point.
And she gave him 2 sons, you know what I'm saying? So, I just know that, I personally can always get a man.
Well, how do you treat a man? I mean, tell us your secret of how you're always getting a man and keeping him. What is your secret there? What is wrong with men? Let me just go there.
Well, first off, they have a lot of problems. I'm a police officer.
Oh.
And I have been to many crime scenes, and I really feel I was talking about feeling sorry for the women and everything, but I feel sorry for the women, and then in a way I don't, because they always get men that's bigger than them. And I'm like, why would you do that? Especially if you got a loud mouth and like to call, like to start trouble. Get you a little man. Somebody who's not working out every day. Hide the weights, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
But what
and
is
men have Alzheimer's.
They what?
I think that's part of the leg that's missing off the chromosome.
Really?
Because I've always noticed that, there's something wrong with them, like they twitch or something, and they like to hit each other, so something's not right, And you just gotta be focused into that.
Well, what about the Alzheimer's, though? They forget things?
They forget right away. Okay, me and you, we married, not me and you.
Right. Yeah, but each
I'm
of
not
us
like
is married.
that. But let's say you married married to a man. Okay, me and you, me and that man over there is married. And, yeah, right. See, I got a man already, Roseanne, but later. And, so, we put the ring on and we take the vows, right? And it's till death do you part.
Right.
And as soon as they part the front door, they in the club talking about, I ain't married. What's that?
You mean you think they forget that they're married as soon as they leave home?
They must forget, because they even bring the woman home sometimes.
So you just
And then they get surprised when you mad. What you mad about, baby? What you mad about? Because we married, duh, you know. What's that? It's hard. It's really hard.
So your solution is to just find men who are smaller than you. Because why? Because then you can keep them dependent on you and you can stay in control. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much you can stay in control at any size, but you have to be really smart. A lot of women don't know how smart they are.
That's
you know,
true.
and they don't know how to use the law to their best interest. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, the separation between man and woman can always be defined with a restraining order. And, you know, you can keep that, you know, make sure that that happens.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, I think that you can always maintain, you have to just be mentally stronger. Women are mentally stronger than men.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
Oh, it's so true. Oh, it is so true. She is so right. Because you could go to like a group of women and like call them weak and they aren't going to break down and have nervous breakdown and be unable to have sex. Please. Thank you.
That's, yeah, because they came out with the Viagra for men first. We weren't having a problem. We never had a problem.
I would like to say.
And I love men, I really do. I just
love
want to
them
let
too.
you know that I don't have anything against them. I mean, I would like them to have some against me, but I don't have anything against them.
I know what you mean there. Thank you, Gloria, Susannah, and Shanisha, for participating in our lively discussion. Next up are our three great gals who were at one time three great guys. You're not going to believe it. Hey, if you're in the LA area and want to see my show, call 1-800-485-6885. Well, so one of my favorite segments is here. That is right. It's time for three great gals. Our three great gals today are very, very interesting women because you see, at one time they were three great guys, but with a little nip here and a little tuck there, no pun intended, they've turned into three great gals, and I love that. Our first gal is a fire captain in Los Angeles. Check out Michelle Kammerer.
Being a transsexual is a terrible thing to be if you're hidden in the closet and all screwed up inside. But when you can come out into the sunlight and say, hey, I'm a transsexual woman, and I'm happy, and I'm productive, I set an example for others to follow in my footsteps and their footsteps to have a productive, happy lives.
Our second great gal is a beautiful runway model and dancer. Take a look at Sophia Lamar. Is an author and a performance artist. Check out Kate Bornstein.
Some of the things I've been first mate on an ocean-going yacht. I've been a professional dominatrix. I've been 3 times a husband, 1 time a father. Once I was a full-time slave for a year, 24/7. It's been an interesting life.
To our stage, Michelle, Sophia, and Kate. sit down. Well, we're all fascinated by this, you know, we're all just so fascinated. So, like, I have to be a big geek and ask you all these big geek questions, but how cool is it to, like, be where you want to be now after how many years where you were where you didn't want to be?
Extremely cool. I mean, I feel like I now have integrity and I'm honest about who I am, and that was so empowering to come out as a woman and to be the woman that I have always been. Because my gender identity started.
Right. I understand. I think I understand it. I mean,
Really?
I don't totally understand it. I mean, okay, I'll just be real nosy. How old were you when you knew that your body was not really the body it was supposed to be?
4 years old.
Wow. How
I
old were
was
you?
like 17, late.
So it didn't occur to you clear till you were 17?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, I was
How about
4
you?
and a half. I knew I wasn't a boy, and I just assumed I was a girl. There weren't that many other choices when I was
Right.
growing up,
Right.
you know.
Well,
But
you
now
get
I don't
two,
consider,
right.
well, yeah, but now I don't consider myself a woman.
What do you consider yourself?
Well, not man, not woman. There isn't any word for it right now. You know, you call, yeah.
That's the way I feel as well.
Really?
Because I don't feel like I'm a woman totally, or a man. I feel like a transsexual. I'm beyond sexuality.
Yeah. Do you feel like a third sex?
Yeah.
A fourth, a fifth, a sixth, you know.
How about you? You feel like a woman.
I feel like a woman, although I am a transsexual woman. I am a woman.
Now, have you all had the surgery?
Yeah.
I have.
Nose job?
Yeah, the nose job. Did you all remove your penises?
Yes.
No.
You didn't remove yours?
No, they
Well,
don't
maybe
remove
that's
it.
why you-
They tuck it up inside.
Yeah.
Turn it inside out.
It is pretty weird how close we really are together, male and female, that it's just like a
Exactly.
turning inside out, and that's all
Exactly.
it is.
Exactly.
It's pretty much it. I mean, the tissue isn't exactly the same, but the sexual sensations are really interesting. I'm finding out all different ways I can orgasm now.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, who do you date?
This amazing, amazing girl who's like way high femme, only she's as butch as they come. She used to drive a 16-wheeler. She won a drag contest, best drag queen, only she was born a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
then
date women. I date women.
If you said you were a woman, then you would be a lesbian, right?
If I said I was
But
a
you're
woman,
not,
I'd be a
you're not saying
lesbian.
you're a woman,
Well,
but
I
you're
can call
into
myself a
women.
dyke.
Transsexual lesbians.
Transsexual,
lesbian.
yeah.
Lesbian, yeah. There's so
Who do you
many.
date?
Straight guy.
Is that hard?
No. They
Are they cool about it, or do you tell them, or?
Well, it depends. If they know you before as a woman and they find out, it's okay. But if they know before, they think that your vagina's here or your breast is back. Transsexual, they don't know. So, but they cool.
And who do you date?
I'm a lesbian, and I have a significant other, and been together for 3 years.
That's so fascinating to me. Do you mind me being really nosy?
No, go for it.
It's pretty interesting to me that you would be a lesbian, so you would be a man that, you know, changes into a lesbian. It
Very
doesn't-
cool.
Yeah, it's cool, but it certainly doesn't go with, like, you know, my really narrow vision of, like, I'd think if you became a woman that you'd want to be with men.
Well,
So you were a gay woman trapped in a man's body.
well, having the sex change is not about orgasms
Right.
or about that issue, or it's not about sexual orientation. My sexual orientation did not change. I changed my anatomy. My
Right.
anatomy now is more
Okay, so
as a woman.
so you always were
I was always
into
attracted
women.
to women.
But you just
So having a sex change shows
could
that
you be
sexual
with women?
orientation
Could you
is.
be with women when you were a man?
I have fathered 2 children. I have 2 grandchildren. Yes.
So it's like a double reverse. Boy, it really makes your head grow just to hear it. Which is good.
Well,
It's good.
sexuality is very complicated. You can define male and female. Sexuality is so complicated, and
Well, there's so much variety.
Well, now, if we were all free to just be with whoever we wanted to be and to do whatever we wanted to do, would you, if it was that kind of a world, which it obviously isn't, would you still feel
Well, my gender
Like you needed
identity
to-
has always been as a girl and a woman. So I just changed my body to match my gender identity.
But it's cool because to push the envelope, which definitely should be pushed because we're all living in a really, really small little box. I think it's a real good thing to push it. Yeah. But boy, it's a lot to hear when you. I admire you all that you know, went for what you wanted, and I think you're all brilliant. You got a million things to say. We're out of time though. Hopefully you come back and teach us some more. I think you have a lot to teach people. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ike Turner is up next, so stay tuned.
On the next Roseanne show, feminist filmmaker Henry Jaglom and futurist author Barbara Marx Hubbard.
My next guest is more famous for what he did offstage than on. He was half of the legendary duo, the Ike and Tina Turner Review, and after his battles with the courts and with drugs, he's back with a solo career. Please welcome Ike Turner. I just have to say, right off, I just have to say, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at a man who has a lot to say and a lot of stuff to talk about, but first and foremost, you're looking at the inventor of rock and roll right here.
Thank you.
Everybody credits your song, Rockin' 88, with being the first rock and roll record, the first rock and roll song.
Yeah, that's what they always say.
How does that blow your mind? Let me just go. How does it blow your mind, and what does it mean that you are the person who did that, and yet you got all this, you have all this nasty stuff that you're more famous for than that?
Yeah, that's terrible, but I don't think anything about Rocket 88, and we know people bring it up and say, you did the first rock and roll record. How does it feel to be in the Hall of Fame? I don't feel anything. Just me. I was just doing what I do, music.
How much drugs did you do? You did so much drugs that you got a great big old hole right in your nose, don't you?
Yes, I do, but thank God, man. I've been through it all, and I'm here today. Maybe it was all for a reason. I don't regret it, because now I think I can help a lot of people today keep from going the road that I went, you know?
Tell me about that road for a minute. Let's talk about that nasty road for a minute, starting with your own father being pretty much lynched.
Oh, yeah, back when I was a kid? Yeah. Well, I don't remember too much. I just remember when they kicked the door down at my house. I was like, what, 4 or 5 years old. And the door, you know how tall the door looked to a 5-year-old. Yeah. And I saw the door come down, and they carried my father out by the, he said that they took him out by a river. He could smell the swamp-like smell. And
he was a preacher, right?
He was a minister, yeah. And they brought him back, and they threw him in the yard. They had kicked holes in his stomach. And anyway, when you turn the corner, I lived at the second house from the corner in Clarksdale, Mississippi, 304 Washington. And when you would turn the corner, when the wind was blowing a certain way, you could smell his intestines and things. And he lived until he died. But that had nothing to do with eating drugs, though.
No, but he couldn't get into a hospital, right?
Oh, no, that's right. They wouldn't accept him in the White Hospital.
They put a tent in front of the hospital where he died, right?
No, they put a tent right side of my mother's house. And the health department put up, it's like a little canvas house. And because I remember I used to go in there and pull out the little windows to let the windows in. And I remember he used to spit into a metal cup that you put a cup in and raise the cap for him to spit in.
He died a few days later after
Yeah, he died a couple of years later.
A couple years later.
Yeah, but that's kind of bad memory anyway. And down to drugs, I started drugs. I used to would fire you if I found you with cause grass, all I ever did straight up was cocaine. But to me, grass, heroin, cocaine, or any kind of drugs was all drugs to me. If I found you with it, I would fire you.
Well, I mean, to me, like, you know, what a horrible, horrible, horrible thing happened to you, and probably a million more things like that
Yeah,
happened
yeah,
to you.
but at least I'm
and
better
then
than Sly.
you this and that, and you this and that, and you went to prison, and you...
Yeah, but you know, that was a blessing in disguise to go to prison because I probably would be dead. All my friends are dead
A
now.
lot of people say that about prison. It does. It gets you off
Yeah,
drugs,
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. But you know, I think you have to want to. But that was really good for me to go to jail because I got my life back on track, and I have no regrets of my life. The only thing is just I'm not real happy with my life. Hey, I'm not saying that the movie was right or wrong, but the movie it wasn't a good portrayal of me. But I was very inconsiderate with my wife, talking about Tina. I was inconsiderate as far as women is concerned, but all the other stuff, we just go over that.
Yeah, but I mean, you were violent to your wife.
No, I would no. I'm very demanding, and when I say demanding,
But
when I
you
say
weren't like physically. You are
No.
denying that you were physically violent to her.
No, I have slapped her. She have slapped me. She have kicked me. I'm not putting up. But when you're together 24 hours a day, it's difficult, especially.
But you know what? I want you to just. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to do you a big favor. I'm going to tell
Okay,
you
do it.
something right
Okay,
now.
okay,
I'm going
do
to do
it.
you a big favor.
Okay.
I want you to look in the camera and
Okay.
admit it and accept it, because as soon as you do, let me finish. Be
Wait,
quiet.
wait,
Be quiet.
admit what?
I want you to admit that you did wrong and you're sorry for it. And
Oh,
as
I
soon
would
as
say
you
that.
do, as soon as you do, and I really am going to make you say it. But
Okay.
check this out. Because as soon as you do,
Uh-huh.
I think all the propers that are due to you for what you invented and what you brought are yours to take. But I want you to do that and let it go. Do it. Look in the camera and say,
No,
you
I
did
am
wrong and you're sorry.
I am very sorry. I did a lot of things wrong in my life, but the way that they portrayed me in that movie, is not
okay,
me.
the movie's not cool, but
No.
you did. You hit
Oh,
your
I-
wife, and you know it's wrong
Sure,
to hit
I've hit
women.
my wife. Yes, I love
Well,
Tina
you
to
know-
death and still love her.
But you know
But
that,
I'm not
you
in
know
love.
that she says that, you know, she says that you beat her.
She
So she
said,
had to run
I don't
across
believe
the
she said I
freeway.
beat. I don't believe she said I
She
beat
said
her.
you beat her ass, so she had to run across the freeway with no shoes and beg a guy at the Holiday Inn to give her
Oh,
a
this
room.
was the last fight we had. Yes, we had that fight. That was the. Oh, yeah, yes. No,
Okay.
you're talking about the last fight. No,
Yeah.
we had that fight. But as far as me being abusive to my wife and my kids, one of my kids is here now. I'm proud of the way that I was with my wife and my kids, and I love them all. But as I said, I'm very demanding.
Yes, you are, and
When I
you
say that-
made big mistakes, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. As I said that in the beginning. I made a lot of mistakes, you know, and I can't undo the past, but I can, like, do the future.
Yeah, you can do the
Yeah, and I
future.
can set a good example for other kids and things today. I'm not.
I hear
That's
you.
all I can say.
That's good that you said it. I'm glad you said it. When we come back, Ike is going to perform for us. Stay tuned. I'd like to thank all of my guests. Thank you at home, everybody here, and now here to perform his new song, City Girl Countryman, for the first time on national television, Ike Turner and the Ikeettes.
I was born in New York City.
I'm going up and down. You looking pretty to me.
Oh, don't you think we are?
Get to know each other better. Take time to find out why we get.
Gotta be some soul between a city girl and a country man.
We can find every take time that it might be groovy on the other side of the line.
Gotta be some soul between a city girl and a country man.
City girl, you had your eggs and bacon.
Well, you was raised on cornbread.
So what? Rooster used to crow when I get up in the morning.
By that time, I was going to bed.
I bet we got a lot in common. Take time to find out why we get. Gotta be some soul between a city girl and a country man. We can find if we take the time that it might be groovy on the other side of the line.
Gotta be some soul between a city girl and a country man. You know,
Girl, I swear you looking out of sight.
oh, don't you think we are?
Get to know each other better. Take time to find out why we get. There's gotta be some soul between a city girl and a country man. We can find if we take the time that it might be groovy on the other side of the line.
Gotta be some soul between a city girl and a country man. You know I want it every day.
Don't don't you think I'm too old?
Age ain't nothing but a number, baby.
City girls got a whole lot of soul. Come on, let's try it one time, baby. Let's try to find out while we can. There's gotta be some soul between a city girl and a country man. We can find if we take the time that it might be groovy on the other side of the line. Gotta be some soul between a city girl and a country man. Country men like groovy in the
7 little miracles, 1 big birthday bash. The history-making McCoy septuplets turn 1. Happy birthday, dear McCoy septuplets. That's Oprah.
Tomorrow at 4, followed by News 8 at 5, here on Channel 8.
a city girl and a country man. We can find if we take the time that it might be groovy on the other side of the line. We might find if we take the time that it might be groovy on the other side of the line. You got to try me.
Oh, yeah.
From WFAA-TV, Channel 8, the spirit of Texas. This is the News 8 Updates.
Witnesses are called. As I've said many, many times, I think it would be a matter of months.
My position is that I would be happy not to have witnesses if we have enough evidence without them.
And tonight, senators prepare to do something that has been done only once before in the history of the nation. Take up an impeachment case against the President of the United States.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us on the eve of a momentous event. The impeachment case against President Clinton is set to begin tomorrow morning. Even so, very little is known about how the proceedings will actually unfold. As a brand new Congress convened today, senators wrestled over a game plan and a timeline. Channel 8's Mike Goldfein of our Washington Bureau has details.
Do you solemnly swear?
Newly elected senators were sworn in only to face the prospect of what is likely to be a messy and protracted impeachment trial.
No final conclusion has been made.
After days of behind-the-scenes negotiations, Senate Majority Leader Trent Lott could only say he hoped to have a plan by the time the trial begins tomorrow.
We have had to continue to consider the opinions of all to try to develop a fair way to have an expeditious trial that gets to justice based on the rule of law.
A rough translation, a number of Republicans, especially the House managers led by Henry Hyde, want a full-blown trial with witnesses. Democrats don't.
We're not prepared to accept any witnesses.
The last thing that the American public wants is a peep show.
But the prospect of Monica Lewinsky testifying on the Senate floor about sexual encounters with the president now seems more likely.
But that does complicate it, and certainly the White House has got to have its opportunity to bring any witnesses they deem necessary in as well.
At the White House, the president's spokesman voiced obvious frustration.
I think what matters is the American public is about had it up to here with this process.